Hey everyone, this is Virginia Slim coming to you from my backyard. So today I just want to talk about pretty much the state of the black man's mindset. Um, and what I mean by that is I mean by the way we think. Um, and what really kind of I've been always had this question on as far as black people is why we always have to see ourselves as thinking alike. Um, why do we have to think alike? Uh, Mama fire here. Got to keep it going, guys. But what I mean by that is, you know, if you think if you think different from if we as black people we start thinking outside of the box, we get demonized for that. Um, and the weird thing is, we don't get demonized by white people. We're demonized by our own brothers and our own sisters for thinking outside of the box. Whether it be dating another race, whether it be on the political aspect, whether it be from just all kind of views that you don't agree with. Like prime example, the Kaepernick situation. If you agree with Kaepernick kneeling or whatever like that, then you're good with the black community. Then you're good. You're good. You're good. Nobody's gonna mess with you. But if you agree with the fact that he should be protesting at a police station instead of on a football field, then somehow you are now the enemy. You are now the problem. And I think that's where a lot of us, I think that's where the black community falls short is that if you don't agree with the masses, you will be condemned, you will be demonized, and you will be ostracized simply believing something that's a break from the norm. And I think that that's a serious problem within our community. Um, we don't think alike. We don't think alike. Um, I'll give you my views on it. Um, my views on a lot of political things are different than the norm. I used to be I used to be a Democrat, growing up, in the South, and I thought that's what you're supposed to do. I thought that, hey, well, you're supposed to be a Democrat. You're supposed to. My mom voted Democrat. Everybody else in my family voted Democrat. Why not? Then I joined the Navy, and I would say even before the Navy, I was starting to come into my own. And what I think what really kind of sparked some things in me is before I left, but when I was in high school, I was really into my later years in high school. I was really into the whole Malcolm X, Black Power, you know, Marcus Garvey, the Black Star Liner, Garveyism, everything. And I was really starting to get into that really heavy. You know, what prompted me to start doing that is I used to listen to this rap group called Brand Nubians, and I was very impressionable, growing up, and I grew up in a Christian household, but I felt like that was just, I don't know, it was just something that was kind of thrust upon me, I mean, that's how I felt, I was a kid. So in high school, I started listening to Brand Nubians, and that kind of sparked me to like, okay, they call a black man God, white man's blue-eyed devil. Okay, it sounds good. Yeah, Um, and when I started getting into that, I started to look at my lens on life start to kind of like flip. I started to look at myself as, yeah, I am the victim. I am I am being mistreated. I guess I'm being mistreated. I am being I do feel like an outcast because these crackers down here, you know, they hate us. But everything of that was being projected by the stuff that I was actually listening to. So once you're listening to something, it makes you, and it gets into your soul and your spirit. It gets into your psyche, your conscience. You start to actually become what you listen to. And that's what was happening to me. My mindset was changing. So anyway, I'm gonna get some. Let me get some more. Get some more straw here, guys. Just hang on one second. Let me get some more straw. So my mindset started to change. So, and that started to kind of like get me to this whole black power, type of mindset, which was, which started to really make me really start to like hate, like have like a deep seated hatred toward white people. And I didn't see that as problematic. But right when I started getting to that heavy, I was about to get out of school and ended up going to the Navy. So went into the Navy, and I guess I kind of had like that Malcolm trip to Mecca type experience where when Malcolm went to Mecca, all the stuff that he was taught in America kind of, they kind of like took the lid off and kind of showed him, you know, what true reality was, not just a reality in his little part of the world, but the reality of the entire world. So, so when I went to the Navy, I started experiencing different cultures, different, different people, just all kind of stuff. Just all kind of stuff, and it opened my eyes up to, um, you know, hold up, things aren't like South Carolina. Things aren't like, you know, um, places that I grew up. It wasn't like that. Then I had an experience where when I was in the Navy, I started hanging with the wrong crowd, you know. And let me let you guys in on something. People that join the Navy are off the streets, straight up G's. Okay, so you was in there, I was in there with GDs, folk, vice lords, all kind of stuff. So living in the South, we didn't really have gangs like that, you know. So when I got into the Navy, it was like, yo, I'm linking up with these guys. You know what I'm saying? And to make a long story short, some stuff went down. And I had to get into that another time. And I was under this whole black power type of mindset. And some stuff went down. And I saw blacks, how we are when it comes to crunch time. You know, how basically 1 minute you down, everybody down, it's like a brotherhood. Then the next minute, these same brothers would try to split your wig, would try to kill you. And literally like do it. So that kind of like made me start thinking about it, start making me think and rehashing that was just one experience out of hundreds, but I'm just giving just one right now. But that was just one of the many things that kind of like it kind of made me, it was kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for? It was kind of, I don't know, a come to Jesus moment, I guess. That's not the word I want to use, but it was just a moment that it made me really kind of think of, it kind of made me reevaluate the way that I was thinking. And so that was one of the things that sparked me to start thinking on my own and stop thinking like a monolith, like like we all think, as far as political views and all kind of stuff. It's just all it took on it snowballed into me becoming an individualist. But the whole point of this video is just to kind of talk about just how we as blacks, if you think different, no matter what kind of experience, background you come from, if you think different from the masses, you will be demonized and you will be pretty much called every name in the book and pretty much ostracized by majority of your own, of your own people. And, it's good to see now that you have a lot of black people, and I'm just going to just talk in the political sense, that there are a lot of people that don't go for that. There are a lot of people that know the history of their political party and don't want to be a part of that, and I give those people kudos for actually stepping up and not being ashamed to speak about views from a different perspective. And that's where I am. I am, I support Trump. Do I like everything he does? Absolutely not. I'd be a fool to say I like everything he does. But there are a lot of things that I see that he has done that he does help the black community. Do I know what's in his heart? I don't know what's in nobody's heart. All I can go on is what this guy's doing. These laws that the laws that this guy's passing. That's all I can go on. I can't go on none of this mumbo jumbo stuff that people are saying, oh, well, he's this and he's this. Okay, well then, let me see the laws this guy's passing. And so far, the laws that he's passing are helping black people. I mean, I know some people might not like to hear another black man say that, but that's just the way it is. I look at the last president, Obama. When he came in, I was like, oh man, first black president, this is awesome, this is good. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, this dude was talking one thing. I'll give you a prime example. He was talking one thing about how he was for the traditional family. And this is one thing that really bothered me about him, is that he was for the traditional family. Matter of fact, he had Rick Warren as his, I guess, a spiritual advisor at one time. And okay, so I'm like, okay, he's putting families first and he's for traditional family. And then the next thing I know, this guy switched up his whole tone, talking about he evolved. And now he's on this whole, oh, gays and transgenders and all this kind of stuff like that, which to me, that is the most significant thing that will destroy the black race. To me, if you're supporting the LGBT community, then you are for destroying the black race. Because we already have things that are already destroying us, like in the masses. And no, I'm not going to talk about how cops are destroying the black race. You know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about real numbers here. What's destroying the black race? Number one is abortion. They just put out a study. Well, in 2012, I got this from Alveda King, Martin Luther King's, and I didn't just get it from her. She got this from I think the CDC. They put out in 2012. They put out a study where in New York alone, I want to get the numbers right. In New York alone, in 2012, I think there were up to 30. Yeah, in New York alone in 2012, there were 30,000+ abortions by African American women. 30+ abortions by African American women. Okay. No marches. Nobody burning up nothing. Nobody saying burn this hole down. None of that stuff. And you ain't see none of that. And you ain't gonna see none of that. So you have that that's basically taking a chunk out of our race. A chunk out of our race. So after you get all that, then you got the heart disease and all this kind of stuff like that that's taking us out in crazy numbers. Then after all that, you got incarceration. The high incarceration that's taking black men out. That's getting black men turned out.